All right, you're welcome to Microsoft Advanced Excel, and I'm going to be talking about VBA and macros. And in case you do not understand what VBA is, actually VBA simply means Visual Basic Editor. Visual Basic Editor, VBA. Okay, and I'm gonna have to share my screen. I have sent out two materials that are going to be incredibly useful for the section today. And the first one is that we are definitely going to be looking at solving this particular incredible piece of work. Now, in case you are wondering why I had to share this, it's because when assuming you have, by the way, before I continue, if you are very good in Microsoft VBA and macros, you are a very good candidate for companies like PayPal, like Facebook, like Paystack, maybe like Microsoft itself, Tesla, and Facebook, and most of the companies that are either e-commerce companies or maybe from the top tier industries like healthcare, finance, or the mid-tier industries like banking and so on, agriculture, or the lower tier industries like construction companies and so on, right? So it is very, very important that you understand clearly what Microsoft VBA is all about, and Microsoft macros, VBA macros, right? So now, assuming that this particular data set, this is a data set that is from a bank, and you are told, or you were rather asked to kind of make changes to the problem here is you have to make changes to the file for reporting each week. So you get as a data analyst or data scientist or whatever you are actually trying to make changes to this file in order for it to help your reporting every single week. So we have week one, we have week two, we have week three. So assuming that you have up to 10 weeks and you are supposed to make a single report to this, a single change, or maybe a couple of changes to this report. Now, would you go to sheet two and will you go to sheet two and begin to repeat what you did? Definitely no. All right. So what Microsoft VBA macros does is that it helps us to automate repetitive tasks in Microsoft Excel to save time. I'm going to repeat that. Macros helps to automate repetitive tasks in Microsoft Excel to save time. All right. So now, unfortunately, well, I already have my developer menu, but before you start, you need to do what? To insert your developer menu right there. And how do you do that? You can go right to your file menu, and you click on file, you go to options, right? When you go to options, you are going to see this dialog box will be open. Go to customize ribbon, and when you go to customize ribbon, you can, this wasn't checked before now, but right now you can just check developer under main tab, and then you click on OK. And when you do that, the developer menu is going to come right up. So now you would want to click on the developer menu. There are two ways that I want to show you how to record your macro, right? You can either click here to record your macro. It's going to tell you that each of the commands you perform will be saved into the macro so that you can play them back again. In other words, you can run the macro. So if I click, I could either choose to click on record macro here or go right down to the uh, below right here, I think is that called the tax bar? Anyway, just go down there and click on records, right? So I'm going to click on record macro. And once you have record macro, this dialog box is going to come out. Then we are going to call it the loans underscore report, right? Because we want to actually we want to make changes to the report that we've gotten here. And then for the description, let's say something like this macro is used, right, is used to format the weekly loans. It's used to format the weekly loans report. And we click on OK. So now we have a name for our macros, right? We have a name for this whole thing. Now we don't like this font, okay? So we want to highlight everything and change the font. All right, let's see. Um, wow, I'm gonna have to all right, let me stop the recording. Oh, let me go back to another let's say, okay, let me open this. Right, let's say developer, we have it's the same anyway. I'm simply just going to leave this here, right? So I'm going to click on record macro, and I'm going to call this the loans report. Again, I'm going to go right to type a description. This is not, it's not compulsory. You may decide to not do this. To format the weekly loans report. All right, then you click on OK. I hope it works now. What? Enable macros. All right, so I need to enable macros. Oh my God. Give me a minute. Let me sort this out. Let me pause the video, sort this out, and come back. All right, so welcome back. And I've been able to do my troubleshooting, and I discovered that I had a macros that was on, and Control A, which is what I pressed, was already a shortcut for one of my macros cards. So when I pressed Control A, it couldn't highlight all because it was already a shortcut. So I had to cut that out and then restart the document as it is. So you can go to your Excel help to learn more about what a macro is, who makes them, and what is the security risk. So macro is a basic visual basic for applications, and they are of course written by software developers. However, some macros can pose a potential security risk. So if someone wants to hack your system, what they do basically is to put malicious in malicious code in your computer or in part of the codes in your VBA editor, and then they can hack your computer. So yeah, this is what we are going to be looking at. This is the document that we are going to be looking at. As you said, we have loans. We want to look at the a loan company. We want to generate some insights into this. We want to automate it so we don't need to come here. When we have our changes, We don't need to come right here and kind of, keep doing what we've done before over and over again. Let's say we have 4 weeks, right? Let's say we have 34 weeks. So you are not gonna be doing this on every single sheet, all right? So let's go to week 1. We are going to, of course, record our macro because we started, and then we are going to name it loans report, and then we come right here to say this macro is used to format the weekly loans report, and then you click on OK. All right, so yeah, we want to replace it because we're starting again. So having done that, we're going to highlight all our data set, and we're going to go to the home menu or the home tab. We want to put this in Cabri, and when we're done doing that, we want to insert our rules. All right, we want to, let's see if it's highlighted everything, just to be sure. All right, so we want to put a color for our rules, so we have this color, let's say green. All right, I'm not supposed to do anyway. I wanted to know that whatever you're doing in your whatever you're doing in your Microsoft, in this particular Microsoft Excel, you are actually um, recording it. Okay, so just for so you know, so you gotta be careful when you do things that you're not supposed to do or it's not supposed to show up. All right, so yeah, so we are going to bold on the just put it on bold, and after that we are going to take all some of the columns here and kind of convert them into currency. So we have the loan amount. What else? We have installment. Just press your control key while you click on each of these. Let's see which one else. We have the annual income. We have the right total payments. That's cool. Then you have the last payment. All right. So after you done that, you just put all of them in double in currency. And let's say what else? What else? What else? You don't need to see home ownership, so we can just click it out, delete it, delete the entire column. And when we are done, sorry, so supposed to expand. All right. So when we are done, the next thing is we want to, let's say, we want to insert a new column just after the loan amount. We want to insert a new column. We call it a entire column. Right. So we're going to call this column debt to income. Right. That's the name of our column, debt to income. So we want to calculate debt to income. Sorry, this is E. To calculate debt to income, what we're going to do is to divide the installment. So let's go ahead. We have equals to installments. We're going to installments divided by bracket open by the annual the annual income. That's how you calculate for debt to income, right? The annual income, which is right there, divided by 12, which is 12 months in a year, and you close the bracket and hit enter. All right, so this is not supposed to be in dollars, so it's supposed to be a percentage, so you click on it. And yeah, Viola, when you're done doing that, you simply, you know, fill. So having done that, the next step we want to take is we want to now sort this. We want to sort this entire column from, let's click on sort, click on OK. And we want to sort the debt to column from the largest to smallest, and you click on OK. When you click on OK, the next thing we want to do is, let's say, let's go to the loan status column. And for this loan status column, we want to replace the word delinquent with something. Let's say to replace Control F, yeah, we replace the word delinquent. We click on replace. We want to replace it with charged off, right? You can type this out. I already automated my Excel to do this for me already. So replace delinquent with charge off, and then click on replace all. You see we have replaced delinquent with charged off for 89 times. So you click on OK, and then you click on close. Now that you are done doing that, don't click outside. Just go right ahead to your conditional formatting. We want to make this appear differently. So go to your conditional formatting, go to where you have equals to, and where you have equal to, you want to type charged off. So anywhere that is charged off, you could see is already highlighted with red. You could change this to any color of your choice. So I'm going to leave it with maybe let me leave it with light red, and then click on OK. All right, so that one is done for. And the next thing we want to do is, just auto fit this. We want to make sure that every place fits on this particular right. We'll just do this. So when you auto fit, the next thing you want to do is, I think basically that's it. We want to maybe stop the recording. We could either do that here or come right down here. So we click on stop recording. And having done that, we want to go to our macros. If you click on this, or alternate plus F8 is going to open this dialog box for you. And as you can see, that's our loan report, and our description is this macro is used to format the weekly reports, the weekly loans report. But we want to edit it. When you click on edit, you are going to see the VBA windows is going to appear. All right, so these are the codes. Remember, we did all this select, we activated things, we selected the fonts, which is this, and with selection of the font, we bolden it. Remember, we had a bold. These are the things that were done, and we selected our columns. Remember, we did some replace with delinquent, replace with charged off, right? So these are all the actions we took while editing this, right? So we could decide to add some comments. Just come right here And let's say we want to add a comment like change, say change the font of the report to Calibri, right? And let's scroll down. We want to put something like we want to this end with. Let's say we want to say format the header, row, right? So let's say we want to scroll down. Uh, let's scroll down. Let's see. A lot of options here. Let's see. We want to change the appropriate columns into current. All right, so when you do that, we are going to click on the save, and it says the following features cannot be saved in macro free workbooks, VBA project. So to continue saving, click yes. Well, we don't want to save it as a workbook, so we're going to click no, and a dialog box is going to come right up. So we want to put this the health techies macros, and we're going to change this workbook to we're going to put macro Excel macro enabled workbook. All right, click on that, and we want to save it as that type, and then we click on OK. So now we are done. We want to close this. We want to close our window, our VBA window. And let's go to the second code, all right? The second sheet, which is week 2, which you can see week 1. It's quite different from week 2. And when we come here, we are going to click on the macros button, and then we're going to click on run, all right? Click on run. Perfect. Remember, it's like everything we did kind of flash back at us. Everything we did kind of flash back at us, right? So and let's do this again. Yeah, so remember we did some auto fits right there, and right, so let's save and remember to close this. So our font is still there, and to correct this, we have to record a macro. Let's call it, we just leave in macro 5, right? And highlight everything and change this to calibrate. So normally if I did this correctly, I wouldn't need to run this anymore. Okay. So let's go back to here. I wouldn't need to come here and run this anymore. But now that I didn't do it properly, I have to run it again. And you come right here, you have to, you know, go back there, run this, and go back there and run this. Yeah. So if you did that correctly, you know, it wouldn't show you it will just kind of do it at once. Okay. So this is it. And I want us to look at the second way of solving for macros. I don't want to save this, just leave it like that. Maybe I'm going to have to do that again, really, so that you see that it's possible not to run the code twice. All right, so I'm going to start it over again. Let me share my screen. Okay, I think I'm still sharing. No. I'm going to cancel this. Yeah, so again, come over here, record macro. We're going to call this the loan amount, and we'll give it whatever description, and then we click on OK. And the next thing is we want to highlight all. We want to go to our home menu, change this to calibrate. All right. When we're done doing that, we are going to highlight our columns. And then we are going to color our columns. Put maybe white, put bold on it. Okay. And the next thing we want to do is to insert our loan amount, insert our installment, our annual incorporation, our total payment, and our last payment. Put all of these in dollars, remember. And the next thing we want to do is to, we don't want our home ownership column, so we just delete it. And after that, we want to insert a new column, and we want to insert that new column, and we want to call it the what's the name again? We want to call it let me see. Okay, yeah, the debt to income column, right? Debt to income column. And to calculate for that, we have equals to, we have our installment, which is F2. We want to divide this, put it in a bracket open, and then we want to put our annual income divided by 12 and hit enter. So we change this to what? Percentage, and make sure that we fill. And after that, we are going to sort this out from the lowest, from depth column, from the largest to smallest, and we click on OK. Right. So the next thing we want to do is to go to the loan status, and we want to find delinquents. Okay, delinquents. We want to you have to you have to make sure that the exact word is what is spelled, delinquent, and replace it with charged off. Click on replace. There will be 89 replacement made, and then you close. You would want to conditionally format this. Click on highlight cells, go to equal to. We want to conditionally format the charged off. It's already on red, as you see. Maybe you want some green, right? Then that's it. And after that, we want to auto fit. Want to let's say one, two. Sorry. Yeah, so we just auto fitted everything. And after that, we want to click on, we want to stop our recording. All right. And then we go to macros. So this is it. And we want to edit this. And so like edits, we want to add some comments. So at the top right here, we want to have a change the font of the report to Calibri. So we want to go down and we're like, let's say, take that. Yeah, the first one here. We want to, because that's where we have the second edit, which we want to change the header. So we want to format. The header. Want to format the header row, and after that, all right. So now we want to let's say now we want to change the appropriate columns into currency, right? So you can see currency. That's what we're gonna do here. That's just a comment we just added. And after that, we want to save our work. Okay. Again, you have to click no so that you rename this accordingly. And did I click no? Yeah, I did. So we want to call this the hell Turkey's macros. I want that to replace the one I had before. So I'm going to have Excel macro enabled workbook. That's what you choose. Click on save. And they want to replace, of course, I do want to replace it. And when you're done, you can close your window. I want to close this too. And let's go to week 2. And then we click on macros. And then we click on run. All right. So yeah, I got it now. So I think I made a mistake now. You can see the everything is just as I wanted it to be. So we go to week 3 and you want to click on developer, you want to click on macros. Again, you could use shortcut for this, but for the sake of training, I'm going to click on run and everything is right there. So that is how we work on macros. Okay. And there is another one I want to show you how to work on macros with let me see course number 2. All right, so this is a enable content. All right, so we want to have, assuming you have a bank, maybe not a bank, maybe a procurement department. As you've seen, you have the finance department, you have the marketing department, you have the sales department. So assuming you want to create a chart, so let's do the same thing. We're going to highlight everything. Okay, let's say we want to start with recording the macro. We just leave it macro 2, or let's call it charts. Okay, call it charts. You can put your description if you want. So let's say we want to highlight this, and then we come right here, and we want to insert a column, right? We want to insert a column. No. Location range, maybe just anywhere. Oh, sorry. Need to cancel this. Column. All right. So let's say I want to do this. All right. And you click on the body of the text. And then let's say you come to developer and you stop recording. All right. And you come right here. You can see we have charts. So I'm going to cancel that. Go to finance. Let's say we want to automate the same thing here. So we just come to macro and charts, and then we click on run, right? So go to marketing, uh, click on run. So this is not how it's supposed to be. It doesn't make any sense at all. So we're going to have to undo all of this. Doesn't make any sense. I'm going to undo all of this. And So now the right way to do this is we want to have a record the macro. Now we want to call the macro name, we want to call it create chart. And now this is our shortcut key. Instead of Control plus A, this particular workbook, then we click on OK. All right, so you can use Control A, but let me use Control B and replace existing macro. Yeah, I want to replace existing macro. So the thing is, now that we have used our shortcut key, we want to now use, because if you highlight everything, what I was expecting to see was that if you go to the finance tab or this finance sheet, if you had highlighted all of these, by the time you go to the finance sheet, you are definitely going to see just the value. Like if you highlighted from row number 3 to 8, if you go to the finance sheet, all right, if you go to the, I don't want to click on this because I'm recording, but if you go to the finance sheet, it's more than 8 rows, or it's more than 3 or 4 rows, like it's more than these, right? But because it was recorded, and because you want to run the same thing you did here on the second sheet, it is just going to pick just the needed sheet. Okay, so now what we are going to do instead is that we are going to put our Control Shift, right, down, Control plus Shift plus the down key on your keyboard, and then you are going to press again Control plus Shift plus the arrow key to your left. That is how you do it. This will make the recording to be dynamic, so that assuming you have how many rows here, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, assuming the second sheet contains like 100 rows and maybe 300 columns, all right, it is going to work with just that, and not that it's going to just choose 3 rows and 3 columns, despite the fact that the next column is going to be changing, okay, or it's going to have a different number of data sets. All right, so how do you do that? Control Shift and your down arrow key is going to highlight just the first one, and then Control Shift, just your right arrow key is going to highlight the remaining columns and rows to your right. And when you do that, I want you to now click on the Insert menu. You go to the, let me see. All right, I don't want to insert any of these, sorry. So you go to your Insert menu, and you will want to insert, let's say, a column, right? You want to insert this column, clustered column, stay as what? Clustered column, stash column, and the stack column, right? I don't want any of these. Maybe let's check other chart types. Clustered column, blah, blah, blah. Stacked column, and so on. So let's click on this one and then click on OK. All right, perfect. So now we want to, what is not here is that we want to just make certain adjustments to our chart as we want. So I want a chart title, definitely. Okay, I want the chart title to be at the center. Sorry, I want the chart title to be above the chart. So I'm going to call this I'm going to call this the procurement department, right? And what else? Let's see. I want the legend. Um, I want the legend to appear at the top. Show legend at the top. Yeah, perfect. So I want it to appear this way. I have my salary and I have a company average. All right. So now that I've given my chart a name and I've given the legend, taken it to the top, and I'm gonna click on my developer menu. I'm gonna click on stop recording. Right. So now I've stopped recording. I'm now going to go to my finance, and then I'm going to remember our shortcut, right? Control A or Control B or Control C or whatever you use. So mine was Control B, so I'm going to use Control B as my shortcut. Sorry. Uh, I'm going to use Control B. What? Wait a minute. Finance. All right. So yeah, Control B. When you highlight everything, you can Control B, and you are going to see this is going to appear. Let me see. I don't think I go to my macro, create chart, and run. Oh, what is happening? Create chart and run. Oh, definitely. So like I'm gonna try this again. So let me cancel everything. All right. So go to developer. Wanna record this. Wanna call this create chart. Wanna use Control A. Click on OK. Assuming I don't want to put any control, I'm going to just replace this. So we have Control Shift down, Control Shift this side. And when I'm done with that, I'm going to insert chart. Go to my legend. So click on the title, and then I'm gonna call this procurement. Click on my legend. I want it to appear at the top. All right, and then I go to my developer and stop recording. And, go to finance. I'm going to do this. I'm going to run. Right, let me do some troubleshooting and then come back to this recording. Of course, you guys know that I do this a lot in class, troubleshooting.